Hi, I'm Charles McCarg. I'm president of the Scotch Paint Corporation, and we're the manufacturers of draw-tite. And today we're hosting the NGPP LA Chapter Guild meeting here at our factory parking lot. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Glenn Hall, which is he is the LA Chapter President. And Glenn, I'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Charles. It's a pleasure for us to be here today. This is scheduled as a regular chapter meeting, which Charles kind of expanded. And we have 20 vendors on site. He's providing a barbecue, and he's invited us to destroy his product. The product is called draw-tite, and as the program continues today, you will see everything that we're going to do to it. Charles Mahard came to one of our meetings for a 10-minute stay to show us what his product was and never left. He's now one of the most active members that we have in the Guild, and we are just downright proud to be here with him today. Thank you.
All right, I'm here with Mike, and Mike was one of the first guys that discovered draw-tite. As you know, I didn't even know what I had until Mike told me that I had something and I should go over the chapter, the Guild chapter, the NGPP, and show them the product. So Mike's with Safe and Simple, and he has a wallpaper remover that's supposed to be the best on the market. Now, Mike, I just want to ask you, what do you think about the draw-tite product?
I think it's a fantastic product. It's just been a real saver for us. We've specialized in wallpaper removal only, so we've been doing that. And of course, we ran across a lot of problems where the drywall would get torn up. It had to be repaired. In the past, people used oil-based primer, the fumes, the problems. Met Charles several years ago. I think we really opened up a hell of a market for you, and found out this odorless, latex-based product we could put on the wall and 20 minutes later go to work and get the job done, and just fantastic product.
Well, that's Mike. Mike, I want to thank Mike because he was the one who actually recognized it as what it was and turned me on to the Guild, and that rest is history. Thank you. Okay, I'm standing here with Barbara Nicholson, and she just signed up as our manufacturer's rep for draw-tite, and she's going to be representing the product in Nevada and Arizona. As you know, Barbara is Frank Nicholson's wife, and she is very excited about repping this product. And Barbara, what do you have to say about draw-tite?
What I have to say about draw-tite is I think it has a promising future. I really do. I've been in this business for a long time with SureStick, Crescent Chemical, Wall-Tite, and I really am impressed with this product, or I would not be repping it.
That's my feeling. I'm so glad that Barbara's on board. I need all the help I can get to get this product out there. As I said, we are just a family-owned operation, and this product, draw-tite, has been a revelation for us as well as our customers. Okay, I'm standing here with Mike Eisen, and Mike I met at the Guild and is one of the most knowledgeable people in the business, paint or wallpaper, and I've kind of attached myself to him because if I have a question on something technical, because I am not a wallpaper person, I'm a paint manufacturer, I ask Mike. And Mike last name is Eisen, and he's doing the tech show today. So Mike, why don't you take it away from here?
Okay. The key thing that Charles is describing is whenever he has a question, I make it sound like I know what the answer is. And the other key thing is that there's a little word up there about just above the show that says technical. And this is a technical meeting. This is not a trade show. This is not a sales show. This is a regular Guild meeting. And we're going to try to attack his primer. He's invited us to attack his primer technically as a wall covering installer would be interested in before he starts his job, to try to avoid any pitfalls that he may have in the installation.
Okay, one thing else, you're going to, on your tech show, you're going to go over also as a primer under wallpaper. Is that going to happen also?
I'm going to go over using your product specifically on damaged drywall, because that's what you came to our meetings with, that information, right. The uniqueness of that product. That's primarily what I'm going to focus on. But we also have several test panels to try using your product as a finish primer on top of chalky paint, on top of satin enamel, oil-based enamel, and on top of raw drywall as a primer. And we're going to work with both the clear and the pigmented version.
All right, and I would just like to thank Mike once more. If I don't get a chance later on today, he is a true gentleman and very straightforward. Okay, I'm standing here with the Scotch paint chemist, Bob Neverson. Bob's been with Scotch paint for 10 years now, and he is one of the key factors in the product called draw-tite. And Bob is also your man you want to call on the C Paint Man on American Online, on the internet, for all your questions and answers. He has a background, #1 in the chemistry class for paint technology, and just a wealth of information and experience that you guys can draw on out there for your questions. Now, Bob is, I'll turn it over to Bob now, and he can just say hello.
Hello. I'm the person who writes you back when you email us at cpaintman. Occasionally, I send off some letters and information to the NGPP net and the paperhanging.com. I enjoy reading your postings every day. I'm glad we've joined your group, and it's most enlightening. Thank you.
Okay, that's our Bob, and if you have any questions, you know where to go. Bob is the shell answer man at Scotch Paint.
This is Charles McCart, and he's the owner of this facility.
Thank you, Charles.
Now, the important part of this is not Charles, okay? The important part is the new West Coast rep for draw-tite, and that's Barbara Nicholson. Barbara, do you want to stand up, please? Everybody say hello to Barbara. And when you want to get involved with the product, you want to buy it, you want to ask any questions, Barbara's going to be the one you're going to see. She's going to be Charles' right-hand man. So, Barbara, welcome aboard. We expect you from Palm Springs at every meeting. Okay, thank you. At this point, I'm going to turn this mic over to Mike Eisen, who is with the LA chapter, and he's going to tell you what we're going to do today and how we're going to do it. Thank you, Michael.
Okay. I was invited here by Charles to see the limitations of his primer. He pretty much set it up as a challenge to see where the point of destruction is. And what we're doing is what we have done with a lot of other products, adhesives and primers, at previous meetings. This is going to be conducted as a guild meeting. But it's a little bit different, as I'm going to ask you to hold back on questions until I go through some of the panels, because I think that I can answer probably a third of your questions if you just give me a running start for a few minutes. But before I start on talking about the draw-tite product, I want to say that we're not endorsing draw-tite product, we're checking it out. The same as we've done with some of the products that are over there, and that same as we're going to do in our future meetings. Not just products, but techniques and tools. And I also want to explain that that's why I joined the guild. I used the same 3 pastes for 20 years. I saw these other guys in the stores buying other kinds of pastes, and I was afraid to try those pastes and to try those other kinds of primers. I joined the guild to find out which was the best paste machine. Now I have 5 paste machines, and I'm looking at a 6th one. Now I use all the primers, I use all the pastes. They all have certain applications that certain things will do something that none of the others will do. So that's what we're here for, is to find out which applications draw-tite will make our job faster, cheaper, and more professional. Okay, let's start out with panel number 1. Panel number 1 is cloth back vinyl with mini strips because of the size of the demo board. This paper was installed on raw drywall, 2:45 yesterday afternoon.
see, it works done quite well with all layers. There's another good one. That's about what happens when you hang over raw drywall. The walls literally fall apart and fall down.
Then you get to the job and they say, well, we stripped the wallpaper for you. Are you ready to start working? Okay, this is panel number 2. I've gone through this process. This is the adhesive that I've washed off on this panel, so this panel is cleaned. All right? I gouged it up a little bit to exaggerate the damage, because many times I've seen where it's right down into the gypsum. So on panel number 2, I have allowed a drying time after I've cleaned off the adhesive. So this is a clean surface. I've taken 80 grit, approximately 80 grit wallpaper, and sanded off the flaps after it's dried. Now, panel number 3. Same as panel number 2, only it has a coat of the clear, non-pigmented Scotch product draw-tite. We are going to apply some draw-tite, fresh draw-tite, on some freshly damaged drywall in a little while, but I'll assure you I have not found an instance where there's been bubbling. Normally when I'll put a primer on a situation like this, on the ragged, shredded paper, I'll usually get lifting, and I'll have to go back after the primer's dry, cut that out, pull that off, spot prime that spot, and then I'll get some more bubbling, and it's kind of a non-ending process. The miracle that Charles came to our meeting with was the fact that you can put this and re-bond the paper. Now, what I would like to do is to put some drywall mud on that sample right there, right now, and show you that also during that step of the process that you won't get any bubbling. So bear with me while I get my tools and put some mud up on that sample.
You just had to get into the act, didn't you? Yeah. The phone was going to be in a video, we had to keep your clothes on, but here he is. That's right. Your mic's working there on your shirt. If you have anything you want to impart to us as you're doing this?
I don't have anything to say except...
Let me ask you a question. I'm supposed to use both mics if I ask a question. Is this mix you're putting on right out of the bag, or have you tweaked it at all?
I've not tweaked it at all. This is not a fast dry. This is just standard general purpose taping compound drywall mix.
I'll answer that so you can hear. It's a standard out of the bag product. It hasn't been tweaked. If you have a question at any time, please just raise your hand, and I'll come over with the mics, and we'll get your question on the tape here.
Now, the thing is, at this point, Martha Stewart would reach into the oven and pull out a cake that's already finished. Okay. So we'll let that dry, but this is untreated. Only thing that's been done here is that the adhesive has been washed off, but it has not been spot sanded to get the flaps off. This 12-inch section has drywall mud on it, but underneath this is the clear draw-tite. Underneath this whole panel, from here to here, is the clear draw-tite. This has no primer on top. This is just drywall mud. This half of the panel has the clear on top of the drywall mud. Okay, board number 4 and board number 5 are almost identical, except that the top coat, the top primer coat, is pigmented in board number 5. It's pigmented draw-tite. So what you have here is a destroyed wall. This dark discoloration is the edge of the clear draw-tite. There's clear draw-tite across the whole surface. Then a skim coat, and then the pigmented draw-tite for the top coat. This board's the same except for the top coat is clear. Charles originally came to our meetings with just a clear. The request came, well, if I'm going to charge my customer to put a primer up, I want him to be able to see that I put something on the wall. Can you please put a pigment in it? Charles said, sure, I'm a paint manufacturer, I can do whatever you want, but the product won't probably be as effective with the pigment in it because you'll get slightly less penetration. The pigment gets in the way and makes the molecules larger on the primer. The other thing I wanted to say about both of these test boards is that I use the clear directly on the ragged drywall because that's where you want the maximum penetration. Now, what I'd like to do is to talk about specifically one of the dares or tests to destruction that Charles talked about, and that is the tape test to determine how strong a primer is. And over a skim coat is the weakest coating surface that I deal with, that I know of to work over. So we're going to test that now. And it wouldn't be fair to use this one. And it'd only be mediocre to use that one. This is what the books, the publications talk about using to test the adhesion qualities of your underlying paint, to test the strength of the paint, to test the bond of the paint. I've read where you take a razor blade